The Magic Show is brought to you by StarCityGames.com, and check this out. On Saturday, December 6th, the Star City Games $5,000 Standard Open comes to Philadelphia, and this event is going to be huge. In fact, I'm actually coming all the way from Tennessee just to be a part of it. So build your best standard deck, start playtesting, and I'll see you in Philadelphia.
And severe close-up, severe close-up.
What's up, everybody? This is your Indiana State champion, Cedric Phillips, and welcome to the Magic Show.
Tell me that you know another way to get it done. It's not me or how I would be, but it's a different situation, a different situation. You lay awake in the night just staring at the ceiling above, pulling pieces of it out of such a waste of time. Keep on fighting to remember that nothing is lost in the end. When you burn, burn, burn your life down. Get me to
It's pretty fun. You fly around, go to the Pro Tours, hang out with all the good guys on the PT, and hang out with the GPs as well. Pretty lucrative, really hard to do, gotta play a lot to get onto it. And I've never been on the train myself, I've played in 6 Pro Tours, but it's a lot of fun, totally worth it if you can get onto it.
You travel a lot, you see the world, enjoy your life.
For me, I play a lot of Magic.
You get to travel a lot, which is pretty fun. Hang out with friends, go to different countries, see a lot of new things.
I mean a lot of Magic.
I decided at the beginning of this year I wanted to do as much traveling as I possibly can, see the world.
Absolutely.
And I've absolutely been able to do this year.
I'm not really sure that I can explain how much Magic I play.
The lifestyle is pretty miserable. I don't really leave my house very much because there's Magic Online and there's pizza delivery services.
My roommate Dennis and I were discussing the possibility that I've played more Magic than anyone else in the world. I'm not sure that it's the case, but it's not an unreasonable consideration. I've been playing since June of '94. I've never formally quit. Most of that has been multiple drafts a day. There was a couple years in college where my girlfriend had to limit me to only 2 Magic Online drafts a day. So then I'd just watch the guy across the hall do a draft also.
Nice. And just be like, don't pick that. That's stupid.
Yeah, a lot.
Of when I used to watch wrestling when I was a kid, it'd be Hulk Hogan and The Undertaker and all the big name guys. It's I don't want to fight that guy or whatever.
Usually, if I don't know them, I assume you're bad.
I think I'm actually really good at this. Especially when you play someone in a Grand Prix, just when you see them, the way they handle their cards, if they don't look like they're very good at shuffling or whatever, it's probably a good % chance they're like a dog.
Sometimes people don't really think about what they're going to do until it comes to the point where they have to do it. Then they start thinking about it, and you should have already done that.
When people just kind of ask random questions, they're it kind of strikes you as that they're kind of a donk. They don't really they don't. It's mean to say that they're being nice and everything, but that's just kind of how it is with me. It's kind of really know what he's doing.
Generally, the better players, they shuffle, they have a certain system, and when they hold their cards, it's crisp. And the sloppier the player is, the more you assume that they're a little loose.
Well, you know what I've heard is always about it's the Crown Royal dice bag.
They're always a donk. If they have that dice bag, always a donk. There's no need for that. Literally none.
I've certainly heard claims that if they bring a dice bag, you just can't lose.
Yeah. Anyone sets down with just a giant box of dice, they're probably pretty bad. They spent a little too much time deciding what dice they're going to use on what counters for what creatures instead of practicing for the tournament. So.
it's stupid.
I knew it existed, I had cyber for it, but I wasn't expecting it to do that well.
Just in our testing, got to the point where nothing was beating Elves, and the guys I was testing with were just like, okay, don't tell anyone about this deck. We just need to hope no one else is playing it.
I think the deck is good. There are definitely decks that beat it. Like you can play any blue deck with just like Spell Stutter Sprites, Jit, like Chalice, Explosives, like any of those cards are really good against Elves.
I haven't done too much testing yet, but apparently it's still amazing. Like, Luis made the Tezzerator deck with more Chalices, more Explosives, and he still was losing to Elves, you know? The fact that now people are prepared for this Tezzeret deck makes it so, you know, you can beat them. And I think it's still the deck to beat by far. The field's going to be at least 50% Elves unless they do some kind of emergency banning.
It's just dumb. I don't like the deck. It's bad. You shouldn't play it. You know, it's like, okay, cool, we got some Elves now. You know, Elves aren't even good, man. Seriously.
Well, what do you think about them not banning something?
I mean, whatever, they don't ban it. It's fine. That's not even good. You know? Just people are too bad. That's the problem with Magic. Decks aren't good. Just people are too bad at Magic. You know? So, but now that we have more time to think about how you can beat the Elf deck, the Elf deck's not even do that well. It's true.
I think it's fine.
You're alright with that?
Yeah, I mean, if you can prepare, it's probably not as good.
The banning of top changed everything, even though people are happy with it. When top was unbanned, it makes other decks that are not even close to being good, good. Like, Tron would be a deck right now if top was a legal card. And Elves would not be a deck if top were a legal card. So, with top being legal, it makes other decks possible, and it makes like for a healthier format because games are longer and stuff like that. Like, there's no Rock deck, there's no Tron deck, and Tron is like a really powerful set of lands. You can't even think about playing that deck with the Elf deck in the format.
I know we don't talk much, but you're such a good talker. Oh, well, I know we should take a walk, but you're such a fast walker. Oh, alright.
I don't really believe it, so
Not at all.
no.
Less important than people think.
Not important.
If you want to be really good, don't blame it on luck.
There's always something you could have done differently. You know, whether it's just like how you built your deck, how you drafted your deck, like definitely obviously how you played, whether you chose to play or draw. Like there's so many factors that go into like every single game of Magic that like, yes, luck is a factor. Sometimes you can like play perfectly and draw 5 lands in a row or whatever. But like it's so minuscule and like you play so many matches per tournament that just like, I mean, if you're really good and your deck's really good and you're playing well, like you should do well.
Like you can't like mulligan like a 2-land hand on the draw when you've got like a 2 and a 3 drop, but it's certainly very possible to not draw another land.
Yeah.
Like you can't make incorrect decisions because you might get unlucky, and sometimes you will get unlucky even if you make the right decisions.
When I'm really in it and I'm playing really well and I'm winning like almost all my drafts online, I still feel like half my losses are because I did something wrong.
The draft is really interesting because some people will ask me afterwards, you know, like if I was behind, say, Luis's table, our friends will be like, what, how did Luis do? What did he draft? Like, I have no idea. I'm not watching that kind of stuff. Our instructions are to watch the player's eyes, make sure they're not doing the Trey Van Cleve, I believe is the nosy goblin, this thing, or make sure that they keep their cards close so that their neighbor is not tempted to look over, and stuff like that. We're looking for that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Chess clocks are not a good idea. People keep bringing it up, at least once a year. I have been unable to buy chess clocks. I haven't found a store that carries them anymore. But if I do get my hands on some, I want to run some experiments with players, and say, hey, we're going to play a match with chess clocks, hitting the thing. And
after every single pass,
and we'll see how it goes and see how confusing it gets and everything. So hopefully I'll be able to run that experiment and finally put to bed this whole let's use chess clocks like it'll prevent all stalling. That's not going to happen. The way to prevent stalling is obviously for judges to be vigilant, but most important for the players to be vigilant. If players don't tell us about it, judges don't have enough time to be watching matches for 5-10 minutes at a time because we have to spread our attention amongst all the tables. So we really need the players to clue us in when there's something going on. Just like if your opponent draws an extra card or something, you call a judge. Same thing. If your opponent is playing slow, call a judge. And you're not being a jerk. I know that's one. Oh, I don't want to be a jerk, but it's very important for tournament integrity. We got started an hour late because 100 extra people showed up. By the way, Wizards of the Coast, States is awesome. Everyone loves it. You made a mistake. Okay. We also had about a 30-minute delay in the middle because the fire marshal showed up. Because we did have about 100 extra people crammed into this room.
Wow.
Somehow they convinced him that it was all safe and okay, and the store employee actually announced, okay, we're going to keep playing. He said it's okay, but he wants us to kick out all of the red burn players. And that was a kind of funny joke. We had to laugh. One of the things I enjoy the most is receiving emails from Toby Elliott, who is a level 5 judge, and he is from my local area, so he's one of my primary trainers. So he keeps a close eye on me, and every once in a while I get an email from him, and it's always very bad for me. It's maybe you shouldn't talk about this in your article, and it's for the most part it's okay. It's not like I'm in trouble, but he's cautioning me on certain things that could be misconstrued. In my article for Pro Tour Berlin, I mentioned that I went out to dinner with Luis and the super team and a couple of friends from Northern California. And I mentioned that we looked over the top 8 deck lists and tried to crack the matchups, I think, something terminology. And he said, you might not want to talk about helping competitors prepare for the top 8. And truth be told, I didn't really help. That was the first time I actually found out that Luis was playing Elves. Because he had told me earlier, and I said, yeah, whatever, you're kidding. There's no islands in that deck. But I looked at the deck list, and I'm like, oh, you are playing Elves. So there's not really much I could have helped in the department of, oh, maybe you should sideboard this in against this matchup. It was really all the other guys doing that. And I also mentioned that, Luis bought me a drink, and he warned me about that because, that could be a player bribing a judge. But that was also, Luis actually ran out of money because he wasn't really planning on winning the Pro Tour and taking everyone out to dinner. So I actually had to buy my drink for the most part. He paid for a little bit, and it wasn't really enough of a bribe, for me to help him out in the top 8. So don't worry about that.
If you could ring the sky like a bell, even such a sound would never suffice. If you could bang the world like a drum, you would only show who's hollow inside. And as it slips behind your eyes are closed, body could
I always like the fatties.